talking Edmond North football. It's Edlam Friday night. Huskies hosting the Edmond Memorial Bulldogs, and a guy that's going to be front and center, behind the center, all night long, Pryce Bender, the quarterback for the Edmond North Huskies, returning starter, and bad taste in your mouth last year when you left the Edmond Memorial Stadium, not be able to get a victory for the first time in your career and the first time in a long time for Edmond North.
Yes, sir. It was a tough loss last year for sure. My sophomore year was my first start against them. We ended up coming up with a big victory then, and that was awesome. But last year definitely was a big letdown, coming up short against them.
And I guess that even adds even more juice to what's a great rivalry to start with. I mean, you guys, as we've heard your teammates say, don't like each other very much. And now it's important to get off on the right foot with a district win.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's going to be a big game. We got to come out on top to start off strong in the district play. How
do you evaluate your first 2 weeks individually on the offense?
My first week was definitely a rough week. We ran the ball a lot, didn't get to do much in the air, so I just felt like I didn't do a whole lot for the team. But last week was definitely a better week for me. I think the offense moved the ball a lot better, and so I'm hoping we can carry that over into week 3.
Is that a function a little bit of having to learn a new offense with a new coach coming in your senior year?
I think we had the offense down pretty well coming in that first game. You know, we started in spring ball learning the new offense, so I think we had it down pretty well. It's just we decided to run the ball a lot in the first game, and we came up a little short.
Well, you had the lead going into the fourth quarter, and then things kind of collapsed. And then last week, right there,
same thing
with Moore, same thing. Here's Moore, it's 2-0. They're feeling like they're on top of the world, and they've won by a grand total of 6 points in 2 games. But it doesn't matter. They don't ask you how many. They just look at the win column and get it in there. So now it's a fresh start. Non-district games, you can kind of look at those as exhibitions preparation. It goes on your permanent record, but doesn't count as a district game. So all of that's out the window. All you got to do is go out and win. Sounds simple, right? Go out and win Friday night.
Sounds simple.
What is going to be your focus? Is there something that when you look across the line at Edmond Memorial that you look at the way they line up and think, you know, I think we can be successful here, successful there?
Well, not wanting
Don't
to
give away all the secrets, but kind of give me a general.
Too much here, but you know, first thing I do is I check the safeties, and I kind of go from there.
Yeah, and see what kind of coverages your receivers have.
Yep.
With that, talk about your receiving core that you've got on your team this year.
So I've played with all 4 starting receivers for 4 to 6 years now. My starting R is Pearson Baker. I've loved throwing him the ball, loved playing with that kid. He's one of my best friends. You know, we first met each other in 7th grade, and we clicked, and ever since then, he's been one of my top targets. I've thrown to him every year now. My H-back is Jay Slakin. Love that kid. You know, he's a pretty dumb kid, but, you know, we all love him to death.
He is the number 1 joker on this team,
for
right?
sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think we established that last year when he was out here.
And then we got Braden Turner, our starting tight end. You know, he's a big body. He's a really great athlete, great player. Love throwing him the ball, letting him work out in space. And then right now starting at L is Caden Dickman. He's a soccer player. He plays both ways. Great athlete, great speed, and he's a really good receiver as well.
Yeah, and there's another guy. I mean, we'll get into all that. Another guy that's playing 2 sports, and it's not necessarily the same sports. You got wrestlers, soccer players, baseball players. It's kind of the norm at Edmond North for the football team.
Yeah, we're all great athletes all around. We all try and play multiple sports and stay on our toes playing all those sports.
Is that a product of growing up in this community because you've got a youth association that kind of kids start out early and then keep it going as they grow up, and then you branch out and you play your travel ball here and there in whatever sport it is?
I think it definitely is a big part of that. We have a great community here in Edmond. I think we all love playing with each other in different sports, and growing up together just kind of helped us stay together.
Yeah, I think people that aren't around here and don't come up here a lot or don't live here kind of think of Edmond the way they do some places, like, well, it's a bedroom. Could people move in here and they're not established? But more and more, I talk to at every school and every sport. Yeah, I've been, went to middle school here. I went to elementary school here. I played in the summer leagues here and all that kind of stuff. It really is a community, really, even though it's grown a lot. I remember when there was about 3,000 people here a long time ago. It's much easier to get around in Edmond back then than it is now. All right, I got to ask you. Of course, you decided in the summer to go ahead and make your commitment to Nebraska baseball. Kind of go through the thought process of wanting to get that out of the way and knowing that your future is in baseball. We saw you play last year, very good shortstop. You can hit the ball. They're going to have an opening at that position next year. Kind of go through your thought process in making that decision early, and also maybe some of the other schools that you thought about and then decided Nebraska was the place.
So Nebraska came into the picture for me later than most other schools. I had OSU, OU, Kansas State, Wichita State, ORU reached out late. So I had a lot of other good options. A lot of great schools reached out to me. But when Nebraska reached out, their coach, Mike Sirianni, he was a great guy. He was at Wichita State when they started talking to me. So then he went to Nebraska, and he wanted me to come up on a visit, and I really liked him as a coach. So I decided to go up there. They have phenomenal facilities, great coaches. I loved them all. It was a really good place, and I thought it was going to be a great fit for me. And so I sat down with my parents, and we all decided on that would be the best spot for me to go.
You like cold weather?
Cold weather, no. I'm not a big fan of the cold weather. That was the biggest concern for me.
And it's not just Nebraska. You're in the Big Ten. And a little harder to get some games in. But that probably means you'll be making some trips down south and this direction, maybe Florida, maybe California, some other places.
Yeah, early in the season they play a lot in the south, so trying to skip out on some of that cold weather.
But I think that was a surprise because Nebraska, Omaha hosts the World Series. Huskers have been there. It's been a while. So you got a chance to bring another program back to prominence up there.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's them. I got to ask you your evaluation. I don't know if you've had a chance to catch any of the broadcasts that a young man named Gavin Bender has done with me the last couple of weeks, and kind of give me your scouting report on him as a broadcaster.
Well, I think he's pretty funny when he's on the air. I think he has great input. He's my brother, so I give him a little bit of crap for it, but I think he does a really good job, and I'm really proud of him as a younger brother looking up to him. Yeah,
I can see a lot of similarities in you two guys, except for the hair color on that. But yeah, he's pretty chill. I've enjoyed getting to know him, and he's a big advocate for you, and that's what I like to see in a big brother. He's very proud of you and an advocate for you and what you've been able to accomplish, and really enjoys watching you on the baseball diamond and also on the football field. Unfortunately, he and I are not doing the game this week, and I said it's probably better because you have a vested interest. You can be in the stands and you can root for a little brother on Friday night. You have any problems? He's doing Edmond Memorial sports with me. Is that kind of a sticking point with you a little bit?
It was tough when I found out, but it's just good, knowing that he's on the air, doing what he loves.
You learn when you're a broadcaster. You know what you root for. They always say, "Who do you want to win?" And I say, "I want the game to be over," because the faster the game's over, the faster I get home. So my vested interest is always. Doesn't matter, the team I'm doing, if they're ahead at the end, I want them to win. But if they're way behind, let's go ahead and get it over and I get home. So you find that out when you get into broadcasting stuff. He'll find that out too. But great having him along. It's great to watch you play. I've enjoyed watching you play the last couple of years. You had an outstanding outing last year. Wasn't quite enough, but one more play this year, right?
Yes, sir. Get
it done on Friday night in Edlin. Pryce Bender, I got to get it right, trying to turn it around there. I think I did that on the air probably last year a couple of times. Called him Pryce Bender a couple of times. Quarterback for the Edmond North Huskies. He's going to be behind center. He's the man that the Bulldogs defense is going to be going after hard on Friday night, and he's going to be trying to bring home the victory in Edlin. We're not done. We got